probably been asked this before, but every year in August we see you in this. Like, what, you just like to embrace the heat?
I do. I mean, it's not really hot. You know, it protects.
Well, today, but...
Well, yeah, truly, but it kind of protects me from the sun. The sun doesn't hit me. You know, so you get kind of used to it. You know, it's mindset.
Okay.
You know, if the players can go out here with helmets and run around, surely a coach can go out here with a sweatsuit on and do it.
You trying to put off some Rocky Balboa vibes from it?
I do love Rocky though, but no, I'm not. You know, I couldn't. No, I can't be the Rocky. I can be Mike Reed though.
How have things changed for you, and what is it? What does an associate head coach do? You know, what kind of duties do you have with that?
Well, anything Coach Greene doesn't want to do, I do. But you know, it really hasn't changed my mindset because for me, I'm that personable guy that's gonna speak to everybody. You know, as I told the kids in the meeting today, Colin Sadler was walking next to me, and he's a young freshman, and he doesn't smile a lot. He's one of those old school throwback offensive linemen. And so I told him before we got to the practice field, I was gonna make him laugh. And he told me I wasn't. And then about 2 minutes later, he was laughing. And he said, "Coach, you're the first one that's been able to do that." But that's who I am. I'm a personable guy. I love people. I mean, that's why I'm in the game. You know, if you don't love people, this is not a job for you, you know, so.
And I take it, you've probably had chances to leave here and go do other things. What kind of keeps you around here?
Well, when you're around good people, you don't want to just go somewhere. I'm not one of those guys that want to go to the unknown, you know. My family loves it here, and I've made relationships with guys, and I can't leave them. You know, if you recruit a kid and you make a relationship with the parents and the family, you know, I can't just say I'm leaving for something else. I want to finish the job. And if it means that I'm here the rest of my career, then I'm here the rest of my career. It's a great place to be. You know, there's a lot of people that would love to be at Clemson.
If you played tomorrow, how confident would you feel about your punters right now?
Well, right now, until game week, you know, it's going to be a competition. You know, I don't want anybody to get into a situation where they're comfortable. You know, so you know, I'm right down to the last bit is when we'll make that decision.
Dabo's been bragging on Aidan. Have you seen good things from him?
Oh, he's had a heck of a camp. You know, the young man's come out here, and he's really, you know, he's really matured and he's put in the work, and it shows. You know, and it's good. You know, it's his time. He needs, you know, it's time to produce.
You're with two new coordinators this year. Do you feel that your role has changed at all, given that, you know, there is an element of continuity in your coaching, and that, you know, I guess with the special team side, do you feel like you're bringing a different element to the coaching that maybe is?
Well, you know, it's one. I think it's one of those situations where, you know, coach feels like, hey, I'm ready for that position, and he's granted me that opportunity. So for me, it's just another challenge in my book. Is now, hey, I've got to take the baton and I've got to run with it. The standard is the standard, and I've got to make sure that, hey, that I supersede the standard.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that, you know, you want to be here until you finish the job. What does that mean to you? And, you know, is that winning a national championship?
No, I don't base it on winning a championship. For me, it's about these young men. You know, and the reason why I got in the game is to, one, help them to be successful. So that job really will never end, you know. So I don't know what that means, you know. I don't know.
Mike, can you sort of describe the level of trust that both Toriano and Jeadyn have sort of built from you, and like if y'all were to play tomorrow, would you throwing them in there and giving them?
Well, you know, in recruiting, you know, I'm one of those kind of guys that, hey, I don't want to feel like I wasted some time going and recruiting somebody. You know, so if I recruit you, I want to play you. Heck, I may die tomorrow. I want to say, hey, I saw you play. You know, and that's with any kid and that, you know, that I'm recruiting. I'm recruiting you for a purpose, and that's not to come and sit on a bench. I want to see you play. Your school's investing in you, then hey, let's go. Make something happen. Let's play. You know.
I think Coach Goodwin mentioned technique maybe was the biggest thing for Toriano to kind of keep improving on. Can you elaborate more on specifics there?
Well, you know, there's certain things in high school that you can do and get away with. On this level, you can't. You know, where everything matters. You know, where in high school you may take a shortcut to something. Well, on this level you can't, especially against the guys we go against every day. You know, so he's got to be very precise. You know, as a corner, anywhere, one wrong move may not need a short play. It'll be a big play, so it could be a touchdown. So just trying to coach him up and being technically sound. So at the end of the day, he can rely on technique rather than guessing or anything of that nature.
When you think back to last season, are there any games that you wish you could take back, or that really are a thorn in your side right now that are maybe motivating towards this year?
I think everything is motivating. For me, I guess today's my 50th birthday, so I can't go back and be 21 again. It is what it is. All we got to do is, you got to correct it, and we got to move on. For us, it's like I said, you measure a man, not when he's failing, but how he learns from that failure.
So who on the team, if anyone, do you think had the most to learn from maybe some of the ups and downs last year?
Heck, all of them. All the ones that were here. You figure we started out, early in the season, and things look kind of dim, and so for that, just build and continually build on it, so that it doesn't happen again,
Yeah, and is it easy to get complacent when the players are looking around, seeing the AP poll and seeing themselves in the top?
I can't say that. No. We're all about work. And you can rest on your laurels if you want to. You come on this practice field, you'll get exposed very, very, very quickly. And the peer pressure that you have amongst your teammates is going to keep you in an uncomfortable position.
What has impressed you seeing your guys go against Antonio Williams?
One, it's two-sided for me because one, he's a punt returner, so I like his skill set. He's a kid that doesn't get easily rattled. He brings a different element to the game where he's a very shifty, very elusive and explosive athlete. So I like that for my players because now he's not the 6'3" kid. He's the 6-foot kid who's very shifty. So I like it. Like I said, it challenges us.
Has Fred made some real progress? I think Coach Sweeney the other day knocked on wood and saying, "Hey man, looks like Fred's made some real strides."
He has, and it's good to see. He's a corner, so I'm his biggest cheerleader. All right. So when I see kids make those strides, that's what you love to see. Sometimes you want them to happen earlier, but hey, God's got his plan for everything. And so for him, he stuck to it where a lot of other kids would have maybe transferred or ran from it. All right, he stuck in there and he learned his lesson and he's growing.
What are you seeing out of him sort of different right now?
Well, his work ethic is more refined. He's taking a lot of accountability on some things, and he's starting to put himself in a leadership role where he's trying to hold other guys accountable.
Are you going along with Coach Sweeney and praising Nate the Great?
I mean, Nate's doing a good job, but all the rest of them are doing a good job. I want to collectively, I want to be a very good group. I don't want to have just one guy. Like I said, I want to be able to be in a situation where I can throw anybody out there and there is no drop off. That's the ultimate goal. Nate's having a good camp. Like I said, but got to make sure they all stay in that uncomfortable state so that I don't want them to be in a situation where they feel like they've arrived.
Do you feel like you'll have 4 by that that you can count on, or 5 by Georgia Tech?
I'm hoping 6.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping for because, like I said, I don't want guys to just be on that sideline. I want to see them play. I'm that kind of guy. I want to see you play. I recruited you. I took time away from my family to come see you play and come spend time with your family. I want to see you play.
How about the old man of the bunch, Sherdian Jones?
Hey, he's my leader, and he's in a great place. I love where he's at. He recently graduated, and like I said, that's the ultimate goal, is to graduate. And so now he's got something in his pocket. So now he can go out there and he can just play.
Speaking of old men, that's one of the maybe silver linings of COVID is that you have so many older players. I mean, maybe less so at Clemson, but you might be going against some 24-year-old quarterbacks elsewhere in the league. And how does that change the dynamic in the locker room? Like, is it hard for these older players to relate to maybe the younger guys that are, I don't know, using social media differently?
They're we have a great chemistry in our locker room, and I think that's what Coach Greene does, with our culture and our culture building. And it's really a family. So it's almost like, they're big brothers, mentoring the younger kids, and then a lot of these kids have known about our program through the recruiting process. So when they come in here, they already know what's expected of them. So it's a very easy process. And like I said, when you have a coaching staff that's been together and you have a staff that, they have the blueprint and we're all speaking the same thing, it's very easy.
Have there been any funny moments where, maybe some of the younger kids, don't get the reference that the older kids are getting, or not really?
There is, but we like to keep that off the record. But we have a good time.
Special teams is that third part of the game that's so important. How much pride do you take in that's your baby now? And what do you think about that overall group to this point?
Well, at the end of the day, it's a reflection of me, And so for me, I have great pride in it. My name is on it, my signature. And so if I'm gonna put my name on anything, it's got to mean something. And like I said, I want this team to understand the importance of special teams. And that's where you get a lot of guys who may not play offense or defense, their only opportunity to really to do anything on the team is special teams. So I want us to have an excitement about special teams, so that when you see us play, you're gonna be like, wow, look at this team play. Not just offense, not just defense, but all three phases of the game.
With BT doing all three things, how do you keep him from wearing his leg down?
Well, you got to put him on a pitch count. You got to be smart. You can't sit there and let him kick all practice. And like I said, but it gives those other guys an opportunity to show what they got, so that when the time comes and their number's called, they're ready to go.
Do you have a pecking order at punt returner, kick returner at this point?
Not right now. It's too early. It's too early. Like I said, all those guys, provide something very different. Will Taylor's been the guy who was out there last year, and he's probably the most seasoned guy besides him and Shipley. But you got Williams, who, like I said, he's a cool cat. Nothing rattles him, and you like that. But for me, I just haven't seen him in that game aspect yet.
As far as Nate Wiggins, he told us that he ended up on accountability lists a lot last year. How much were you on him about that? How much do you think he learned?
I think he learned a lot. It's like I said, this is a different program. And for me, that fatherly instinct is love. Sometimes love requires discipline. Sometimes you got to discipline. I'm not one of those dads that can reward bad behavior like anybody. You start rewarding bad behavior, and then you got a real problem. And like I said, so for him, it was just something different, something new, and like I said, he's all in. And it's good to see that. That's a true sign of maturity.
How nice is it having a healthy Malcom Greene?
Healthy Malcom, good. I mean, he is like a spark plug. He is like the Energizer bunny. If he doesn't bring that juice, I'm gonna find him, because that's one thing he does, and I love it. You guys saw me, on signing day. He was one of the young men I cried about, because he's a very emotional kid. He plays passionate. He's a loving guy. He's a great young man. And everything you ask, he does. And he's like the epitome of, a Clemson player. So you gotta, like I said, I'm one of his biggest cheerleaders.
Talk about being the Energizer bunny. I mean, is he talking all the time? I think they said he's one of the best trash talkers on the team. Is he constantly talking?
Malcolm just talked. I don't know if you call it trash, because it's not really trash. Malcolm just talks. Regardless of what comes out, he's gonna talk, and I like it. He's getting his players involved. Like literally, practice is like kind of like on a little down, dim side. Malcolm's jumping up and down, and you're like, hey man, what are you drinking? What are you eating? I need some of that. So he's like I said, he's a good guy to be around. Good to have in your room.
From a development standpoint, how tough was it to lose Myles, pretty early on in
I did. It hurt. Like I said, I brought him here for a reason. I want to see him play. And have to, having a young man, not be able to play. Sometimes they feel like, man, they feel disconnected. So it's my job to make sure, hey, come on, man. This is a little setback. This is one of the little wake up calls. You got to now. You got to really, you got to fight now. You got to struggle. But it's sad.
Did you see the flashes of why you recruited him?
Most definitely. I mean, fast, physical. You like it. So you were just hoping that when the news came back about his injury, you were like, man, I wish it was just a something slight, but it wasn't. But it's okay. He'll be okay. He'll be ready to go.